The opinions expressed in this program reflect only those of the participants and are not necessarily those of the sponsors, management, or staff of WTBQ Radio or FST Broadcasting Corporation.
WTBQ.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel, Adventure, and Wellness. I'm Brenda Otto with Sunray Travel, a travel advisor trained in special experiences for cancer patients. And with me is co-host Julie Bach, CEO of Wellness for Cancer and Cancer Health Coach. Today, as our guest, we have Dr. Shamali Singhal, a surgical oncologist and CEO of Hope and Beauty. We're going to talk about some of the unique challenges facing cancer patients as they choose to go out and about. Some of the topics will be covered more in depth in later shows. If there's something that you really would like to hear more about, please text in your questions at 845-328-0886. So, good morning. I'd like to bring in Julie and Dr. Singhal. Are you there?
Good morning, Brenda, and everyone listening.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Shamli. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Great. I'm glad that you're both here this morning. So our weekly tip today is to make an appointment with your doctor 1 month before you're interested in travel. You will need a letter from your doctor summarizing your care, and you may need a medical clearance letter for the flight.
I need to interrupt for a second because people need to just hear this as part of a conversation. So first we need to tell them what the show's about before we get into all the details. Let them know why you're here, why Julie's here, why the doctor is chiming in as a guest to be able to put that together, and explain to them what you're offering. And then we can get to the part where we say what you should do once you make the travel arrangements. You know? So let's start off. Tell them why you're doing this.
So I became interested in this from a program that Julie offered through the Wellness University. And when I started learning about what she was actually putting together for cancer patients, it really struck a nerve with me that how can I assist cancer patients with traveling and make that more attainable for them and give them guidance on how they can go about doing that.
Perfect. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Julie, why did you decide to get involved in this?
Yeah, well, there's two reasons. One, I went through a transformational experience when my dad had cancer, and we traveled a lot. And travel was something that was really important to our family. So I work with a lot of resorts around the globe to welcome people with cancer. And then as a cancer health coach, I try to help people to keep their life normal and to do them while they go through cancer treatment. And travel and leisure is part of that.
Yeah, and obviously the doctor, we know you're an oncologist. Now, what is a surgical oncologist, actually? I've had an oncologist myself, but I don't know if they were surgical or not.
Oh, so I'm a general surgeon, and I did 3 extra years just to train to take care of cancer patients and their surgery. So the difference is that I really take care of all different kinds of cancer patients, and really with this focus on multidisciplinary care and coordinating with the medical oncologist, the radiation oncologist, and providing a patient a very solid surgical experience.
And this is important to you because you not only deal on an everyday basis with cancer patients, but you see afterward, you know, their mental, emotional, and physical states. And, you know, obviously you're one of those doctors that says, you know, how can I help them feel better after this is over or while they're going through treatment?
Yes. You know, my goal is that people get back to their regularly scheduled life, and that this cancer experience is something that they do go through, but then they go back to the things that they like to do. And I've had a lot of patients who have set goals of travel, have wanted to travel, need the travel for all different reasons. And I want them to go there safely and to have the right information.
Right. And Julie, you know, why did you decide at a certain point? Now, you have a wellness organization in general. And was it always like directed towards cancer patients, or was it just for wellness in general?
Yeah, my Wellness for Cancer has always been directed toward cancer patients because I saw the immense results that my parents had by using mind-body practices, by using spa, movement, all of that. And so I started a charity to help support others going through their journey.
And then Brenda, you're this top travel agent, and you've been planning great, amazing trips for people. I mean, you have that ability to be able to listen to what somebody wants and then give them a choice of some phenomenal trips and adventures they can have. And then you got involved on this end of it for cancer patients, and tell them about that.
Well, I had people reaching out to me that had certain situations that they were going through, and to be really versed on how to handle their trip, how to get them there, the trip, what that was going to look like.
Right.
I stumbled onto Julie's class, and I started listening to all the different tips and tricks and ways to make it easier for people to travel. It struck a nerve with me. We all have somebody in our lives that has gone through cancer, and we want to be able to help them. And so when I started learning more in depth about this course, how can I help clients travel who are going through this situation and make it a better experience for them, because it can be very stressful when they really don't know the guidance and the procedures that they need to be able to just get on a plane.
And also, you have the information for people to know if they're suffering with cancer, if they're going through treatment,
Right.
even if they're in remission, which one of these facilities that you deal with, all these adventures and all these, places they can go to, like Sandals, is one of them. But similar to that, all these vacation destinations that are be able to incorporate the fact that they have to be aware of these people have cancer. There's certain things they can and can't do. Maybe there's a doctor on staff, et cetera. So there are certain resorts that you and Julie have put together, right, that that you can have someone go to and they can feel comfortable going.
Well, that's what interests me the most, because Julie was the one who put the resorts together. So when I started seeing the resorts that she was working with, and I was working with those resorts as well, I just didn't know that they were offering that until I started learning more about her class and her organization. So that's what really drew me to learn more about what she put together, the resorts that are out there for clients that they do want to travel and are able to, that I can actually put them someplace where they would feel welcome and that they would have opportunities to enjoy the property and also be welcomed when they get there.
And be comfortable in the knowledge, knowing if anything, God forbid, should happen, they're covered.
Well, yes. And, as a travel advisor, like my clients, they can get a hold of me 24/7. So they know that I'm kind of an extension of the trip. I may not be there physically, but I'm in their phone.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that Julie has put together to help people to travel is really enlightening. I mean, I had somebody yesterday call me that's on dialysis and they want to be able to travel. So learning from Julie on how I can help this person go and experience that so that they can actually still enjoy their life, as Dr. Singal had said, that you want them to have as normal as a life as possible. And if we can help incorporate that, then we're doing a great job.
Yeah. So, Julie, I don't believe in coincidence in life. I think that you coming together with Brenda is, this culmination of things that people are looking for, and they don't know where to go to find it. I'm sure there are many people who are suffering from many different diseases that the same thing that Brenda just said. They want to get away from the disease. They want to get away from that environment. Mm-hmm. So Julie, how did you approach these resorts to say, here's what I want to do with you?
Well, to be honest and transparent, it was a pain point. So a lot of people, unfortunately, in massage school, even in the United States, were taught if they had a massage, they could spread cancer, which is not true, okay? Not true. So the myth started with a lack of knowledge on cancer and knowing that cancer spreads through the lymphatic system and through the blood, through the circulatory system. And massage touches those systems. So they thought, okay, well, we could spread cancer. We can't do that. But you know what? Walking does the same thing. So if walking spread cancer, doctors would say, hey, you got to lay down for the rest of your life and be on bed rest. And that's not true, right? Yeah. So it really has been working with doctors from leading institutions to say, no, there's no evidence that shows that. But all of the evidence shows how beneficial massage and facials and yoga and everything else is. So what was happening at the top resorts were they were turning people away. So you'd have people fly all the way to Maldives after they rang their cancer bell and say, I'd like a massage. And then you'd hear, oh, sorry, you had cancer, can't touch you. So I stood up in front of the top 450 executives and said, you're causing more harm emotionally than what you could do with touch. And so now everyone's pretty much pledging to bring in training and to really support their clients who, are going through the journey or after.
We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to have more with Julie Bach, Dr. Singal, and Brenda Otto. Stay with us on Travel, Adventure, Wellness. We'll be right back.
Dr. Singal has been a surgical oncologist for over 20 years and is also the founder of Hope and Beauty, whose primary focus is helping cancer patients suffering from the side effects that treatments have on the body. At Hope and Beauty, they provide customized chemo companion products that ease symptoms and side effects and improve the quality of day-to-day life. For more information, visit shophopeandbeauty.com.
Hi, this is John Douthit, President of Burke Catholic.
And this is Janice Clark, Principal of Burke Catholic.
We are inviting you to join us every Friday at noon on the BC Connection,
where you will learn all the great things happening at Burke Catholic.
Right here on Radio Worth Listening To.
I'm gonna make this place your home.
This is Christine Koenig,
Grace Warren, Brenda Wiley,
Dave Wilner
of Howard Hanna Rand Realty, and the hosts of The Real Real Estate Show.
Mondays at 10 a.m. It's radio worth listening to.
WTBQ.
We are back on Travel, Adventure, Wellness. Sounds good to me no matter what.
Yeah.
And Brenda Otto is here, and Julie Bach, and Dr. Singal. And what were you continuing to say?
So what we wanted to kind of cover today was, what kinds of unique challenges do cancer patients face when they travel? So I kind of want to, throw that back at Julie because she's been traveling around and teaching people and resorts, like she just said about massages. So
Julie, do you have any pets?
Do I have pets? No, I don't.
You know
anymore.
why? No, I meant that as a joke because no pet would live. You're never home. Don't have a pet, not even a fish. I'm just saying. You're on the road all the time. I would love to see what your passport looks like. I'm sure there's a billion stamps on it.
Yes,
I got 52 stamps in the last 7 years.
Right.
Oh, gosh. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, Julie, talk to us about what are the unique challenges that cancer patients are facing when they travel.
Well, I think the first challenge really is kind of planning for that plan B. Like, what happens if something happens, right? And am I cleared to travel? Is it okay for me to travel? And so I would hope that everybody, all the listeners, could take just one tip away from today, and we can discuss it a bit more, is make an appointment with your doctor. At least a month ahead of time before you speak with Brenda as your travel advisor, or after you talk to someone like Brenda and come up with the different places you want to go to, speak with your doctor to make sure it's a fit for you. So that would be the tip, the one thing I'd love for listeners to take away from today.
Right. So when they, a lot of times when I'm interviewing people, clients, when they're talking about travel, those are kind of the things I ask them to share with me. And right now I actually have a client that I'm working with that I told them that they really should speak with their doctor and just make sure that the doctor's going to sign off, because you don't want to go through planning all that and then the doctor turns around and says it may not be the best to do that right now. So so always check. I agree with you on that, to check with your doctor. Mm-hmm.
Or we'll pull Dr. Singal in here for a minute. They can go the other way where the doctor could change their procedure so that you could have your bucket list item or take that trip. Anything you want to add there, Dr. Singal?
Yeah, so we do this all the time. So if we know that you have some intent to go somewhere, sometimes we can work your infusions around it. We can work around being having a procedure, things like that. But it's just communication, right? It's communication with the people who take care of you. And I think those are all pretty important to involve your physician in it. so that you have reassurance that you're safe and that you're doing things that your team who's taking care of you knows about.
Yeah, I mean, doctors say even if you take an aspirin, it says on the back, make sure you check with your doctor and make sure it doesn't have an issue with other medication you may be taking. So this seems like a no-brainer that you should have that conversation.
And the kinds of things. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Well, the kinds of things that you might talk to your doctor about might be, the need to access medical facilities or emergency services, or what if something goes wrong? What am I supposed to do? Do I call you in the middle of the night, or what do I do?
Right.
Good question.
Dr. Stewart, what do I do?
Yeah. What do you do? Okay, so I have a patient from a number of years ago who had on her bucket list to go bicycling on the Costa Brava. Okay? So she goes and she spends a month in the Costa Brava. And I get a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning saying she was admitted to a hospital. Could I please speak with the doctor there? But the doctor only speaks Spanish.
Oh, boy.
So I'm left trying to scramble at 2 o'clock in the morning to talk to this doctor about her care and about her situation. And so she ended up getting surgery in the Costa Brava somewhere and came home a few weeks later. But it's a difficult situation if you don't prepare for it.
Yeah, that is a very good point because you do travel to foreign lands, and you're right. What if your doctor doesn't speak that language? That's something I wouldn't even have thought of until you just said it.
Right.
Another thing that should go on the list.
Well, what about, too, is contacting, if they know they're going to a specific place, is, maybe work with the doctor prior to find out who is there that can provide services that if they need them. I mean, that would be a really great idea, too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important.
And can I add one item to that? And so this idea that Julie had about visiting your doctor, what you really need to get out of that doctor visit is a summary statement. So what is it that you have? What medications are you taking? What treatments are you under? So that you can hand that, at least you can hand it in English to the people that you're doing. But if you are going someplace with a foreign language, you should translate it into that foreign language so that those people, if something happens, can work with you.
Right, exactly.
And also, I would think that you would send the information about your health ahead of time, so it's there already in case of emergency. Is that done as well?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Not necessarily to the property,
no, I mean
to other areas.
To a doctor facility, maybe to be in touch. I mean, I guess it would depend on the health of that person, what stage they were in.
I would think it would be.
Well, I think we've got a solution for that, Doctor. Do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Dr. Singal.
About the monitoring program?
Yeah.
So we have, through Prescription for Wellness, we have a service that patients can sign up for as they're wanting to travel. And it's called Apricity Care. What Apricity Care does is it takes all your health information in and then provides you with questions every day about how you're feeling, what's going on, and you can always text into that system. And on the back end are oncology trained nurses. And those oncology trained nurses look at your symptoms, look at how's it going, and they'll give you some feedback, whether you're doing well, you have an issue that somebody needs to address. They can call you, video with you, but they're always there for you. So if you have a question like, oh, I want to go out in the sun. What kind of sunscreen should I use? You can text them and they'll answer you. So it provides someone traveling with some reassurance that someone's watching over them who knows exactly about them and who's an oncology trained nurse. They will connect with your doctor. And so they provide this support system for you that allows this very special reassurance that you have your own nurse in your pocket.
So this is an app that they can download prior to going or even just on a regular daily use if they really want it, right?
Correct, right.
Okay.
So it's a service and you can access it through Hope and Beauty. And what happens is that there's there's an app, you sign up with them. They have to get a consent from you to get your medical records, but that's just a form to fill out. And then you're on your way after, as there's several different ways that you can access them. You can access them on the phone. They actually also have a call-in number in case you need to talk with them
So while
that way.
somebody's traveling, they can have this Apricity app on their phone, and if they have any kind of issue, they can just text in or call in, whatever. Maybe if there's, and then they would get a solution or at least an answer to whatever it is that they're going through while they're on vacation. Right? Is that
right?
Perfect.
What's the name of the app?
It's called Apricity Care.
And there's a link on your website?
Yes.
And tell them the website?
So my website is shophopeandbeauty.com. .com, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shophopeandbeauty.com. So that's, these are just sounds to me like great ways and easy access for people who may have questions. So what I'm hearing from all of you is that you're answering the questions people are going to have the questions too. You're going to answer them before they even ask you.
Right.
And so when you have the combination up there and you have a list of, here are some of the answers to these questions, and they can see it beforehand, that makes everybody's life easier.
Well, yes. So this
and it's not just for international travel. It's also, many times people travel across the U.S. Again, it's 2 a.m. You live in a rural area. Your doctor's not going to answer the phone. Should I go to the emergency room? What should I do? So then, if you're signed up within Apricity, that they will tell you, here's what you should do, or go to the emergency room. Yes, that's what you need to do right now.
Oh, that's great.
So it's also the U.S.
And anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah, so the app can be used in the U.S. as well. So, I mean, when we talk about travel, of course, we talk about resorts that Julie's trained, but there's a lot of people travel within the country as well. And,
sure.
You don't have to just travel abroad. You can stay within the country, and this app would be with you no matter where you are.
Well, I always tell people you should experience this country. I've been in every state but Alaska.
Yeah.
And I am telling people out there, it's like crossing borders in Europe. You have different accents, different food, different culture, different music, and amazing people. And we all speak the same language, by the way. Let me mention that.
Yes, we do. Yes. Well, it depends.
Just a smidgen easier.
Yeah.
But explore in your backyard. So many people since the pandemic have been on these what they call staycations.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean in their backyard. It could mean they're staying in the United States.
Well, yeah, but so what we're trying to do is just not just travel outside the country, but to give people a little confidence that if they do want to travel, they can travel. And
they can travel anywhere.
Right, and these are some of the little tools and tricks that they can have if they really do want to.
So I have a question for you,
around.
Brenda. Do you ever ask anybody when they call up to do travel plans, like, what is the dream you've always had? Where have you always wanted to go?
Well, yeah, a lot of times when people call me, they already have a plan, and sometimes I'll change that plan. If I find what they like, or they're talking to me about they like, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this might fit better. So like a couple called me last week, and they wanted to go to Jamaica, and when they told me what they really wanted, I found something that was ideally perfect for them, but it was in Mexico, but it was exactly what they wanted. So,
it's sort of like when you see on HGTV where people are like, I only want a ranch, and they end up with a colonial, and they're really happy.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
We try to, when it comes to travel, I think, and especially for people that are that have cancer and want to travel, I think the idea of what Julie and I and Shamali are trying to put together is how can we get them there, and how can we educate them on how to get there, what tools they can use,
and that they can be comfortable,
and how to be comfortable while traveling. And I think that's what's really important, and I think that's the message that we're trying to get out to everybody, is that this is something that you can do, if you're able to, but the steps and the ways to do it.
It gives them the self-confidence to be able to take that vacation, and then when they're there, have peace of mind that they're okay there.
Well, yeah, like Julie had said, some people were showing up at resorts and they wanted to get a massage, and they were being turned away until Julie educated the resorts that is just not correct.
How many resorts have you educated there, Julie?
500.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why her passport book. She probably how many passport books do you have? I mean, how many stamps she's got?
You know, I only have one page left. In Mexico the other day, they wouldn't let me in. They said, "You don't have any blank pages left."
That's a good answer. You know, there's something to be funny about. All right, listen, we're going to our next break. I know it goes by very quickly because it's such important information. Right. Just want to mention out there, if you'd like to text in a question or a comment, 845-328-0886. We'll be back with Julie, Dr. Singal, and Brenda Otto. Stay with us.
Brenda Otto of Sunray Travel promises you more than a trip. She builds you a world-class adventure. Brenda customizes travel for those going through or recovering from cancer and their families and friends. Contact Brenda by visiting sunray-travel.com. Whether local, in your state, or anywhere in the USA, overseas, or to a beachy island, start your itinerary now by going to sunray-travel.com and live your dreams.
This is Jeff Berkman, and I invite you to tune in to the Wednesday Morning Roundtable on Radio Worth Listening to, New Jersey and Orange Free Radio. Free to express your opinions every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Hi, this is Tom Lovelace. Join me and my guest every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for the Lovelace Music Experience. Exciting interviews and great music from every genre, right here, playing the best music.
WTBQ GHD weather.
For this afternoon, it's going to be mild. We'll have an abundance of sunshine. Temperatures climbing up into the lower 50s. Mostly cloudy tonight. Those clouds will keep temperatures up a little bit. Lows dropping down into the mid-30s. You could see a couple of showers on Saturday. It's not going to be a rainy day. Mostly cloudy skies or mild. Temperatures getting into the middle 50s. Mostly cloudy for Saturday night with a comfortable low in the upper 30s. Then we'll see sunshine for Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jim Rinaldi.
WTBQ.
And we are back on travel, adventure, wellness, all good to go together. And we're here with Julie Bach and Dr. Shamalia Singal and Brenda Otto. So Brenda, go ahead. I know you had a great question that or a really conversation you wanted to have to educate people.
Yep. So I think what this question is going to actually be for Dr. Singal is, what types of things should cancer patients do to plan for a trip? Like, what are the steps that they should follow?
What are the steps? So first is a little bit to decide what kind of vacation or what kind of trip are you trying to take, right? What is your intent of the trip? How long do you plan to go? What way do you want to travel? You want to go luxury? You want to go budget? You want to go hiking through the Amazon? And are there any special activities? And that information should be communicated to your doctor about a month before you're traveling, because the doctor has to create kind of a clearance, if you will. It's okay for you to do these things. These are the things that maybe you shouldn't do. And then sometimes, depending on what your situation is, you might need a medical letter for the flight. And so the physician has to fill that out also. So that kind of planning, I think, is really important to do some analysis of what kind of travel it is that you're approaching, because all this paperwork needs to be in place before you leave.
Right. So, I mean, as an advisor, like normally we plan our travel much more and like further out than just a month. But should they talk to their doctor if they're deciding they want to plan something, say 6 months out or 3 months out? I mean, I get sometimes with cancer patients, it's something that they're thinking about right now, so we really only have a month to plan. But if it's somebody who's like in remission and they're really thinking about something in 3 or 4 months, should they consult their doctor, at that time, and then, to just go over what they can do, and then maybe again a month prior? It's just information I think as a travel advisor I would need to know so that I could plan accordingly.
And people's, I think people's health changes when you have cancer or you've been through it. So that is a very good point. And, the other thing I want to add to that, ask you, Julie, I mean, when you travel normally, you make a list of what you have to take with you. I always type out a list so I don't forget anything and cross it out as I pack it. I mean, I think that's another thing just to mention, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Brenda will have a checklist based on the training that we've provided and eventually a little booklet for people to have. So they'll have that checklist. But a great example would be even if somebody were just recovering from cancer or a little out, maybe they're going to Africa, right? And maybe they need a vaccination for yellow fever, right? So that's something that they would want to discuss with their doctor given their health status, if they're in treatment. Dr. Single, you want to add anything on, for example, vaccines? That would be an easy one to go through.
Yeah, so we're going to have a whole section on vaccines because they're so important. You have to have your regular vaccines, and then there's other ones depending on the location that you're going to and looking at the risks for different kind of infectious things, ticks and all kinds of things mosquitoes and pests and stuff like that you may be exposed to depending on where you're going. So there's a whole discussion to be had about that, which we'll have on one of the later shows. The other thing that's critically important are medications. So what medications are you actually taking? How much do you need to take depends on how long you're going to go for. And the recommendation is really that when you deal with medications, as you bring your medications in their original bottle, because the bottle has the prescription on it. And the bottle can be, depending on the country or place that you're going to, the medication may not be the same, or people might not know what kind of medication it is. And so if you just take a pill box, it doesn't help you, right? And a pill box and a list. So you have to take the original bottle.
So my question to add then, probably Brenda, you'd probably know about this. I know airlines have become very strict about things. When you have pills with you, is there anything that they need to know when they go through the checkpoint?
Well, that's what she's saying, that their medication should be in the original bottles with the prescription on them. And also, too, is that they should take their medications.
So when you say their prescription, so the written prescription should be with them?
Well, yeah, usually the prescription is on the bottle.
Oh, you mean where it says it right on
the... So it says that what it is they're taking.
And the person's name.
Exactly.
And the Alliance is okay with that?
Well, that is the way to go. The other thing we recommend is to just bring your medications in your carry-on bag. Don't put them in a.
So they don't check your carry-on for that?
No. They'll scan your carry-on bag as it's going through, but
they don't care what pills are in there.
Well, they will if they're not in the containers that they should be in with labeled. Then yes, they will. But that's why she's saying that you should have that medication in the original bottle that it came in with the prescription on it.
And Julie, would you say they should put that all in one place so they don't have to be searching in different places?
Yes, readily accessible, so they're not having to unpack everything when they get to TSA or anywhere else.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There's a whole thing on getting through TSA, and that's going to be like a whole conversation because there's a lot to go through.
Oh, I can imagine.
But Julie has put together, those checklists and those guidelines that we'll be covering for people on how to get through TSA with medications and certain devices. As we keep going through, but. She's done a great job of putting that information together. So, we have a lot of different tips on how people can manage to get through TSA.
Yeah, that must be a little bit of a struggle,
and so
right?
The other thing I wanted to mention about these medications. So let's say you forget a medication. How are you going to get that medication? It depends on the country. There's a whole discussion to be had around that. So I can only emphasize to you, take enough medication for what you need plus a week in case you drop them on the floor, in case something happens, right? And there's physicians, there's clinics, there's all sorts of things outside, in other countries to help you to get those medications, but it's a bit of a project. So do your best to take what you need with you.
And then some. Right, just so so you're covered, right? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to do that. But when you come to packing all that medication to take with you, what are the procedures in order to bring that medication with you easily without having to struggle with that?
Yeah, in other words, can you get? I know a lot of times you can inform the airlines ahead of time of certain things. Can you do that with medication or a thing that they may stop you for? There are some people, that have to take shots for specific things. Like I know I had to do that after my second surgery. So, I mean, is there ways to kind of have your, doctor's letter or whatever they have to give to the airlines?
So depending on the airline clearance form is very either limited or extensive. So the airline clearance form has to be if you have what they call special needs. So some airlines have a very extensive list of things that you have to provide for them for you to fly on their airlines. A lot of it is around, oxygen and wheelchairs and medications that require refrigeration, medications that come as liquids, things like that. So all of those items have to be delineated in a format essentially from your doctor.
Okay.
And it's the same for syringes, right? Whether it's TSA or the airlines, that they know that there's a reason that you need to bring the needles, on the syringes on the airplane.
Right. But anything that's basically in a pill form that they're bringing, like, we could talk about the syringes and stuff are a little bit more complicated, especially traveling with liquids. But basic medication that you can bring in pill form should be really relatively easy to get through as long as everything is in its original container, completely wrapped with the, prescription on it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Right. And I think that people forget like the 3-1-1 rule, right? Where, you have to have a certain size or whatever. And if your prescription bottle's larger, that's okay. Keep it in the original bottle. Don't put it in something else to meet the TSA rule of the ounces. That is where you can get through TSA, for example, and we'll talk about that in future as well, and recap that. But there are exceptions to be made depending on your condition. So you just want to be able to plan for that and not make the assumption incorrectly that you can't. And so you compromise by pouring it into a different bottle.
Okay. So, moving forward, I want people to be able to feel that really to go on travel, there is some steps in planning ahead, but it really could be something that they really could enjoy if they just work with somebody or they had the knowledge and the data, to actually make them go forward. Don't you feel that there's people out there that would really want to plan their vacations that are going through cancer just so that they can get out of that cancer world?
Well, yeah, you'll hear. Go ahead. Sorry, Julie. Go ahead. So the thing is that what you don't see is what you don't. So you don't notice all the people that choose not to travel because they feel like there's some barrier or some fear, and so we want to make it easy for those people to get out and to do what they want to do.
Now,
Sorry, Julie. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. That's speechless. Oh, my goodness.
No,
somebody
it's just
take
that
a picture.
I'm going to tell you what the reason is, because it happens to me all the time. It's called your brain's going about 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you stop at once, and you're on to the other two things you were thinking about afterward.
Right, exactly.
No, I'm blaming it on menopause mind.
I'm not.
It's much easier. No, I was going to say is, again, it's really helpful, like you said, Brenda, to get out of cancer world. And whatever that looks like, whether it's that just going the next town over or going somewhere farther. And when you do go to resorts, for example, it's an opportunity to relax. It's an opportunity to reconnect with your family, an opportunity to take care of yourself or cultivate a passion like photography or pottery or things like that. So it's something to look forward to, but being flexible if the date has to change.
So we're going to go to a break very shortly, but I'm going to leave this. Maybe you can all answer on the way back. Is there camps for adults that like to go do, because that's a big thing, where people want to go to adult camps, not necessarily in America. But,
yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
And we have speakers coming up on those in future episodes.
All right, well, we're going to take our last break. Believe it or not, it goes by really fast. So if people want to text in a question or comment, 845-328-0886. We'll be back with Julie, with Dr. Singal, and Brenda Otto. Coming right back.
Dr. Singal has been a surgical oncologist for over 20 years and is also the founder of Hope and Beauty, whose primary focus is helping cancer patients suffering from the side effects that treatments have on the body. At Hope and Beauty, they provide customized chemo companion products that ease symptoms and side effects and improve the quality of day-to-day life. For more information, visit shophopeandbeauty.com.
Hey, I'm TJ.
And I'm J-Bo.
Join us on the next TJ Show. We're hitting the streets before the big football weekend.
Woo,
you ready?
Baby. I'm ready.
Let's see what people are saying. Any predictions? It's on the way on the next TJ Show.
Are you a foodie, a wine connoisseur, or love both? Then join the conversation every Thursday at 11 a.m. with Stephen Keeter and his renowned guests, restaurateurs, chefs, and sommeliers on Food for Thought, right here on Radio Worth Listening to.
WTBQ.
And we are back here on Travel, Adventure, Wellness. I like that title for all travel, actually, because you always feel better when you travel.
Yeah, you certainly do. I mean, the way I look at it is when I travel or I'm on vacation, especially when I'm at the beach, everything just kind of goes away. All my problems, everything, I'm able to just kind of release everything. And so I think for patients that have cancer that want to be able to travel, I think that they would be able to experience the same thing, is to just get away from cancer world, enjoy, life as best as they can, do the activities.
You mean like normal?
Yeah, like be normal, and get away from talking about this situation. I think that it would give them a little bit of relief, and I think the program that, Julie has developed in order to give them that information to be able to do that, it gives them the opportunity to actually take some time and get away and enjoy their life. So what do you think, Julie? Good? Ready to travel?
Yeah, I'm ready to talk about camps.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go to an adult camp. It's just like, it reminds you of your childhood when you had no cares in the world. It was a carefree world.
Yeah.
Just had fun. Right, Julie?
I just want to sleep in a comfy bed, though, not on the floor.
Well, there's different kinds of camps, right? You have your luxury to others. But in a future episode, we'll have Epic Experience, which is here in Colorado.
Is that called like glamping? Is that similar to that? No.
Their version is glamping.
Okay.
It is in cabins, but they take people rock climbing, believe it or not, zip lining, horseback riding, river rafting.
Love it.
And the cancer centers pay for a week for 10 cancer patients. It might also be newly survivors too. So they're scholarship based, and then they have some spots that aren't scholarship based, but the hospitals are supporting, and they help to decide which of their patients go. So there are several kinds of Epic Experiences throughout. There is a group in New York called the Besties, or the Breasties, I think. Sally Wolf will be on in 2 weeks. Told me about them. And so they're at a camp too. So there are many camps. Now, some people may want to be with other cancer patients or other people that have experienced cancer, and some people don't. So that's one of the personal decisions, definitely. And then Canyon Ranch actually just had a retreat for cancer patients. So there are lots of different ways, but I love the idea of camp too. And that's really what a resort is as well, is that beautiful camp experience where you don't have to do anything and you get s'mores.
Oh, I'm in.
I'm in too.
Come on. And do we get to tell ghost stories at night around the campfire?
Yeah.
You know, at Euphoria Retreat, they actually, and she is in Greece, and she actually is a 2-time cancer survivor, and she founded her resort to help people through this time. It's an award-winning resort, not just for cancer, but one of the things she does do is drama. So you do get to act around and tell stories. And the power of campfires and storytellings, Epic does it during theirs, is powerful, right? So, yeah, you can do that in a specialized camp. Or, again, many resorts are all about the experience now.
Yeah, those are wonderful.
Well, and and you know what? For people that are going through any kind of cancer right now, treatments or even recovering, that's the thing, is to just get them out there and to get them back.
Take their mind off of everything.
Yeah, get them back out and about, in a safe way, of course, in a mindful way, but to let them know about what they can experience after going through what they're going through, just to have a break. Right. So.
And sometimes you bring your family and you bring your kids, right? So you're able to connect with them and do something together. You can also put them in camp. You can watch a movie while outside on a big screen and have popcorn with your kids, and someone else can make it and pick it up for you.
I love it.
That I love.
Put the sheet up on the fence and put the movie on.
Yeah, exactly.
What other kind of unusual vacations do you have available for people with cancer?
There's all kinds, and we'll have some different people speaking about it, but there's one that Six Senses has that I love it, and it's in Oman, I believe, or Ziggy Bay, where it's called the Hero's Journey, and they have cancer survivors that go through it, where it really is, like parachuting off of a cliff, and it can be tandem. And that's why it's called the Hero's Journey.
Well, you know what? If somebody's experiencing cancer, that trick will not be a big deal.
Yeah, well, I'm terrified of that
heights?
kind of.
Well, I think anybody going through cancer, after cancer, no heights are going to bother you.
Yeah, for me to parachute or anything, and if the plane is going down and they're telling me I've got to go, they just push me, because that is not going to happen for me. I like to have my feet planted on the ground.
Well, I might have to have a note from Dr. Single saying it's okay for me to go jump off a cliff.
I don't want the note. I'm not jumping.
But I think that what we're trying to get at is that people with cancer can have really great experiences, and to be able to offer that to them and show them how they can travel is just, I think, what we're really trying to get out. That's the message that we're trying to get out to everybody, is that they can travel, it's just how to go about doing it and the proper way to start investigating if they can or not, especially, like you said, talk to your doctor first and come up with a plan that's going to work for everybody, because everybody's got individual needs that you have to address. Not everybody can do everything, but like Julie said, it could just be something, just going to a resort and doing a walk on the beach, or, a small little hike, or doing photography or pottery or painting, whatever. Just so that they can experience some joys in life, right? Am I right on that, Julie?
Correct, exactly. It's kind of like revisiting the healing arts or the humanities, right? What is it that gives life? Because in between cancer diagnosis and treatment and everything else, the rest of your life, you live. So what is it that's going to either give you the opportunity to rest? Maybe that's what you need. Or maybe what you need is a reconnection to that spark to live and move forward.
What about theater and arts camps, where people go for theater group or to perform? Maybe it is a performer who's going through cancer and they can't obviously do it professionally while they're going through this, but they want to have that experience. Are those available also?
Well, not in these particular resorts, but when Sally Wolf comes on March 1st, she's going to talk about dancing her way through cancer. Oh. And she's going to talk about her first trip was going to a dance camp.
Love it.
And it's not at a resort. So yeah, there's all kinds and more offerings are out there for people with cancer, because look, 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed within their lifetime, 1 in 3 women, 1 in 2 men. So everybody is going to have to make adaptations to be more welcoming, to be more inclusive, and to plan for. But if someone's really nervous, then start with a group that is a cancer organization that's going to a camp or doing rock climbing. They're going to have a medical doctor who's going to be going anyway, and a nurse most likely, and a social worker. So that it would be a very safe setting if somebody was concerned.
Yeah, we got a text in here. Somebody wrote, very unique and important show. Thank you, ladies.
Well, good.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so do I. So actually, we're
Which is both true.
Well, yeah. Well, to touch on this subject, a lot of people
Tell me
are
if
not touching upon it.
Tell me
so
somebody you know, either their family or friends, that has not been touched by cancer.
We all have been touched.
Every one of us.
Every one of us.
Whatever the reason is, we're here not to talk about the reason or how it started or how we stop it, but how you can have fun if you're going through it.
Right. Well, and to be able to experience some fun, because a lot of times when you're going through that, it's difficult for you.
Do you ever get, Brenda, do you ever get somebody who says, I have a bucket list of places I want to go to. Can we set them up like this season I want to go X, then I want to go Y, then I want to go Z. Then do you ever have that?
I haven't had that yet. I do have people that want to do different things. It's just the timing. But, everybody has a bucket list of what they want to do. I want
to go to Ireland.
Oh, well, hey, let's go.
I told you we're going to get you there.
I have to get there because my relatives I know are screaming already.
Let's go.
There was actually a woman who used to have a show with us, love her dearly. Her husband was one of the top councilmen in New York City for many years. True love story. She used to go to Ireland like 4 or 5 times a year. And the last time she's like, you're going with me, we're done. And she suddenly passed away. So this is my Pat O'Dwyer promise.
Right.
To get to Ireland.
Oh, right.
Yeah, love that woman.
Yeah, we all have people in our lives that have been touched. And, I wish I would have, a good friend of mine, I just experienced that with her. And I wish I would have just taken her when she was diagnosed.
How many times have you heard that? I wish I would have, or I wish I had done that.
I know, right.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to bring that.
And so, Julie, what's your answer when somebody says that?
Well, there should be no shoulds or woulds in life, right?
Exactly.
You want to live it full out, but you want to be safe, right? You will hear from somebody that just picked up, and we talked about this last week, and went to Venice in the Lenny Kravitz. We're not saying go so far out, do it safely and make sure you got, some check guards in place. But there's a lot more that people can do because of the treatments being less intrusive. So there's a lot more that people can do. And that's what we want to encourage, that living doesn't stop.
Yeah, but what you've all done is wrapped safety and health and fun all in one package here, which nobody who has this disease ever would think that would be possible. So you've opened up the whole earth of possibilities for people. What a great thing that you all leave for a legacy to be able to do that for people. Really incredible.
Yeah.
I just want to mention, you have about a minute left. So what I would like to do, start with you, Julie. Tell them how they can reach out to you, what the name of your website is, and what they can find on there.
Sure. Well, for right now, go ahead and go to Cancer Wellness Travel, and that'll give you a map of the different places to go, and then you can contact me there if you have any questions.
All right. And Brenda?
And Brenda, I'm at sunraytravel.com.
But it's Sunray-Travel.
It's Sunray-Travel.
See, I remember that for the commercial.
But I Google and it comes up anyway. So,
okay, good.
Yeah, but anybody can reach out if they even just want to have a conversation. If they're thinking about planning something and they just need some information on the guidance that they need to go through, I'm more than willing to set up a time and we can chat and, talk about what you want to do.
All right. And Dr. Singal?
Yeah, so my website is shophopeandbeauty.com, and the email is support@shophopeandbeauty.com.
All right, and people, if you want more information and you're driving and you can't write anything down, just contact me at taylor@wtbq.com. I'll give you all their information. Do you have a future show coming up next week? Do you have the topic that we can share with people?
That would be Julie.
Julie. What's on that?
Yeah, we've got, we have extended out to a few resorts, and worst case, I'm going to talk about some of the resorts I've been to and some of the great things that you can do.
Okay.
Yep.
That's something to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's called Coming Attractions, folks.
And that's where we're going to tap into the resorts that, people can go to, what experiences that they can have. And we want people to have a positive outlook or a positive feeling that they can travel. So we want to be able to touch those people and Give them that opportunity if they wish it.
All right. Well, listen, thanks, ladies. You are amazing. Thrilled to have you on the air. Stay tuned next week. There's more to come.